Hello and welcome back to the Faz and Lowgy channel. Today we're going to be starting our third Let's Build series here on the channel, and we're going to be building a city. I do just want to say that before I get into this series, I did want to change the day that I was doing my Skysaga videos on, so I'm going to be changing it to Friday. So Skysaga videos are going to be out from Friday from now on. What you can see in front of you is the starting island that I've been given here at the start of Alpha 10. I'm going to be demolishing absolutely everything, but before I do that, we're going to go and visit my coliseum, because we have one final thing that we have to do. When I posted on the Skysaga forums, I got some comments saying that I should be adding some beast cages to my island so that you have something to fight. And I thought that was a really good idea, so the moment I had enough funds, I went and bought a forest bear animal cage, and I linked it up to a switch, which is what you're seeing me do right now. Placed back in the lights I'd removed before. Then it was time for me to test it out. Gotta make sure you bow to the crowd. Check that my spear is ready, then I go pull the switch. And a bear appears, and I have to fight the bear. We engage in glorious combat, and, well, spoilers, the bear loses. I'm quite well equipped, I've got some good gear already. If you don't have good gear, you may find it a little bit harder to take on these bears, but I think that that would just add a fun, challenging element. I was fighting a bear for a while, and I just thought it wasn't enough. You know what I need? I need 2 bears. Yep, that's right, 2 bears. So now it's a 2-on-1. And I'm thinking that even though I've added 2 bears, when I get even more funds, as I progress through Alpha 10, I'm probably going to just keep adding animal cages to the Coliseum. So in the long run, you may find that there's 4 or 5 animal cages in the arena when you actually come and visit my island in the future. So that's something to look out for. You know, in the future, if I continually add these animal cages, I won't announce it, but you may just want to go back and visit, and you may have yourself a pretty hefty fight. And we do a bit of celebrating. So here we are back to my island. You can see I demolished everything. So now we're going to start the build, or we're going to start planning the build at least. The first thing I did was map out the entire area that I had. It's very easy to lose yourself in the air, but it's also important to know roughly where things are going to go, so that's what I'm doing here. So I'm creating these columns, and these are going to represent certain important aspects that I'll explain slightly later on in the video. It was important to try and manage the balance between how many columns I was going to have and how much space I still had between them, and I'm sure you'll see why once I explain things. I put a line across and created this large rectangular area, and I built in some curved edges. I won't be keeping those, but hey, for now, they add a little something extra to the plan. Then I extend out these areas, and I sort of stagger them to be different lengths, so increasing lengths as you go on. This whole structure is a giant floor plan for my city that will fill the entire space of my Sky Island. This city is a really ambitious project, so I'm going to need a lot of materials, and it's probably going to take a lot of time to build. But we've only just hit Alpha 10, so I've got all the time in the world. So here it is, here's the final floor plan. We have all kinds of different areas that I'm now going to explain to you what they are. So we have these row areas, or columns as I called them before, but now they're on their side. These areas are going to be stepped housing. So the houses, they're going to get higher and higher as you progress backwards along the rows. Towards the back, we've got 2 areas for some housing. To the left, in the centre, is the arrival area. We have a central island in the middle. That circle is not a perfect circle. It's just a rough circle to show I want something in the middle there, maybe with some bridges. And that weird long rectangle at the back, that's going to house some ancient structure or the town hall or something important, at least. So now, what we're going to work on in this episode is the arrival area, the very first area that you'll see in the city. At the moment, I don't have a plethora of different decorations that I can use, so I am very limited to what I can design in these early episodes. I'm also not super loaded with resources at this point, getting started now for 10 takes a while. But I'm doing what I can in this first episode to kick things off. So I built this huge semicircle at the back here. This is going to form part of a landing sort of platform. In terms of buildings, there aren't going to be many on this arrival area. It's going to be an open sort of space that you arrive in that will allow you to view the rest of the city. In this build, the idea is that I'm going to be using warm colours. So whilst I've used a lot of grey for the floors, the grey blocks will only be in the floors. Because of the coliseum, I don't want to be using the grey blocks for the majority of the building. We're going to be building the buildings out of brown stone, orange stone, maybe a little bit of yellow and red as well. We're going to be using white for the roofs, mainly. Although that will change in colour as well, because we're going to have a mix-match vibe. You'll see when I start building the buildings in the next episode how I'm planning to do things in the city, but until then, I'll just have to leave you in suspense. I made the circle a little bit smaller, and then I tried this decorative pattern inside the circle where I removed blocks and filled them in with different colours. In the long run, I did actually get the pattern wrong, and I decided to come around and have another go at it. So I built these weird swirly patterns, and I used orange stone to colour them in. They kind of look like fire. I extended out, made them a bit more exciting, and filled the space with orange. Then I came around the edge and added like a step. These rectangular areas at the side here, these are going to be docks for small ships. So if you've got a small ship and you're bringing it in here, you're going to park it here and enter the city off to the side. Then I came to the front of this area and I decided to build another semicircle. This is going to be a sort of balcony platform area where you can view the rest of the city. I built some extra pathways, just laying in the foundations for certain pathways so I know roughly where people are going to be walking and going. One of the decorations I do have at this early stage is a fence panel. And so I'm using the fence panels just to demonstrate where railings are going to go, because on the other side of these railings is going to be open sky. There's going to be lots of areas in the city that are just, air. I toyed around with the idea of having these long grassy areas. Maybe I'm going to decorate them with a few benches around once I unlock the recipes. But for now, we're just going to lower those into the floor, and we're going to make them a little bit smaller. And I think I actually combine them into one in the centre as well. One large green area. And I link it to the ramp from the landing pad too. So now we come over to this side, and I extend the grey blocks so that they form a larger platform, and it's time to build a building, the first building of this build. Now this building isn't anything special, I just wanted a warehouse, because what I want to do is I want to move into the city as soon as I can. I want to get my chests in there so I can get all my resources and my crafting device laid down in the city, ready to start making things. So I just built a small rectangle, I gave it a simple slightly angled roof. I lined it with a bit of wood. Put a fence in front of it, added some lights, and that was it. It was ready. So this is all that I've managed to get done this week, but next week we're going to be finishing off this arrival area and potentially starting some of the housing areas where I may demonstrate how the houses are all going to fit into place. If you want to continue following the series every week, you can feel free to subscribe, and I'll be releasing a video every Friday. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Pheasant